Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge, and I'm a Hilk empath, and I just like having these little talks. And the way I feel about things, yeah, I feel pretty good. It's been kind of a full spectrum day of emotions, you know? It's because it's been quiet, it's been overcast, and when it's like that, I did go out to the freaking dump this morning. That was cool. I got all this energy I always have, you know? I mean, when I sit on these videos, it's entirely different than me in real life, you know. So I went and did that and did some chores around the house, mowed the lawn and stuff like that. I just have a push lawnmower because I don't have much of a yard, and I used to have a big old yard front and back, and I really enjoyed mowing it and planting flowers and all that stuff. But things change, times change, and so I have all this energy, so it's important that I use it in constructive ways, because when I don't use it in constructive ways, then I start looking around at things that I think need to be updating that don't really need to be updating, you know, and people start just using their energy in wasteful ways to do weird stuff. I think a lot we have example after example of people playing out on the internet of how they're spending their free time. I'm scrolling a lot. I don't know. I'm like that anyway. So today is an astrology day. When there's days like this, and then I go back to the stars, you know, and I'm like feeling a kind of way. And I know that tomorrow we got a full moon Taurus, and been listening to a lot of talks about that. And then, you know, soon Venus is gonna retrograde, and I got Venus in freaking um, all over my, or not Venus, but I got Venus in Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter all in Pisces, and that makes me part of the too much crew. It really does. Um, just if you, maybe, you know, look up your chart. Maybe you got Mercury in Pisces too, or some of these other. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will. I will just give you a little. I don't know, infomercial on how astrology has really made sense of me. You know, in defining me. I never understood why, you know, I know who I am so well, and I always have, and I've always been a really, people have described me as just been a good-hearted person. That's direct and respectful, you know, and and I always try and treat people the way I want to be treated, and I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get treated that people. I don't know, because they think I'm a simple. I don't know what it is, but people really, they're not very kind to me. So I got Mercury in Pisces, and I was all in my feelings today, and it says right here, plain as day, she sponges up the feelings and moods of people and environments around her. Moody communication, sometimes very talkative, other times withdrawn, tactful, preferring not to offend, fertile imagination, flexible mind, sometimes gullible. I get duped a lot, it's true. I do, because I know that everyone is full spectrum. Everyone in the world has the capacity to add so much joy into your life, and they, as much as they have the capacity to bring so much shade, you know, to just be freaking assholes. That's all that being a freaking, I don't know, you can call it, define it, whatever you want, but behind that word, I look at just a vibrational frequency in a human being, and they don't care about the collective. They care about themselves, and I don't care about people that just care about themselves. I care about the collective to the point that, you know, so it can it can be very hard to pin her down to any one belief or decision. That's because we always get information. We're always getting information, you know, as to help guide us in the best course for us. You know, I'm thinking, I want to move back to California, and then I have to look at that with with clear eyes. You know, if I move back to California, for the whole reason why I would do that is because I want to get closer to my niece because she's 5 and I want to be able to, you know, see her go to school. But she's not going to school now, you know. So if I go down there, but me and my brother aren't cool right now because he's one of those freaking politicians that keep freaking choking, making laws and making laws. You know, I think it's really interesting that society has interjected this thought process that poverty mentality belongs to the people that are living in the tent cities and the people that don't have addresses and the people that are just, you know, don't have a community. You know, they felt the people that fallen through the cracks. That's what I call us. And and it's not them with the poverty mentality, because they're fine, they're just surviving. Yeah, it sucks that people keep making more rules and making it harder just for people to get by, but you got to understand, these people that are making these rules and make it hard for people, it ain't hard for them. They're not struggling, and they have never struggled, and they're never going to know what it's like to struggle. So when you don't ever know what it's like to struggle, to go hungry, to suffer, to be in pain, to be scared, when you've never, ever experienced that, you have no empathy to people that have. How can you? Empathy is people feeling as if they've gone through it. And for people that have always been protected and, you know, paid your way your whole life, you've never gone through that, so you just create more rules and regulations and make it harder for people. So no, the poverty mentality, it's the people at the top. You know, the people that were supposed to do the trickle down, the $2 trillion that goes down to 70 million people. 70 million checks for $1,200 went out. Well, let me tell you something. The people that made those decisions, the 535 people in Congress that made that, look up how often Congress, they're not meeting, they're all at home with their refrigerator stocked full of ice cream and, you know, in their big lavish houses in San Francisco and, you know, in their big they're all at home. And they're still collecting $15,000 a month. And they work less than half a year. Less than half a calendar year. And they pay themselves $170,000 to make decisions. 70,000 checks, you know. And I wonder how many got sent to dead people. Because, you know, with all the people, and look at all the entities. I just want people to look at all the organizations and what they're paying themselves. That's what people don't understand, is that there could be, yeah, you want to, nobody has to be stressed about finances because there's enough to go around. It's the people at the top. That's why the Trump is doing what he's doing. Oh yeah, we'll let the governors decide. We'll let the governors decide. Well, guess what? I live on the west side, where they just like, they think they know what's best for people, and the thing of it is people don't like to be controlled. They don't like to be controlled. And, you know, there's supposed to be 342 million people in the United States. So 45,000 out of that is less than 100,000 people. Less than 1/10 of a million people when there's 342 million. It's just interesting. Just makes you wonder how easily people just go, okay, okay. It's not my epidemic. I still don't know one single person that has ever been sick. It's always, I know someone who knows someone. And when, and it's just, and I know that there's the anomaly, because there's always the anomaly. There's always the anomaly, but you know what? It's been my experience. It's been my experience. I have never, I'm looking at this point at an entity that is supposed to be serving the collective, whether it's religious, political. I am wondering, where are the good ones? Where are the people like me that always stood up in my work center and said, no, this isn't okay? That's why I made a terrible airman in the Air Force. Because I always had these men freaking telling me what to do, and their ideas were just freaking stupid. They were dumb. But they would never even listen to my ideas because I was a girl, you know? I mean, that's the mentality that is still, and I'm sure it still exists. I mean, I haven't been in the Air Force in a while, but I'm sure it still exists. I'm sure it does. You know, I had to grow up with it my whole entire life. And I was so smart, and I thought I was so stupid. I thought I was dumb. Because I talk funny, but you know what? I had the gumption and the fortitude and the drive and the determination to practice, to speak over and over and over and over, so people would understand me. And I can't stand when people mutter and mumble and stuff like that. Speak up. Tell me what's on your mind. You know, I just can't. I'm not a wishy-washy person. And the world is becoming so wishy-washy. You know, I'm not nice. I'm not all soft and fluffy edges. And there's a lot of people like me that are very kind and loving people, but we're not freaking fluffy, man. We think fluffy's stupid. Because fluffy and all that stuff, I've had too much evidence of where, yeah, you all hang out with your, you know, the niceness while your shadow turns around and smacks me upside the head. Yeah, it took me a lot. I made a lot of the same mistakes over and over. I was in the same freaking dance of death, twisted. I used to make fun of people for staying in relationships the way I did. And then I did it. So guess what? I don't make fun of people for that anymore. I don't make fun of people for a lot of things anymore. Because I just don't, it's just not nice to make fun. Well, I still make fun of people. People I make fun of are drive freaking Teslas, Mercedes, freaking Range Rovers, and wear puffy coats. When it's warmer outside than it is, you know. Then anyway. So, what else? Oh yeah, everybody is like, you know, you can't be strong, you can't talk loud, you can't be clear, because people now, it's just like, oh, you scare me. Well, that kind of is lame that you're such a filthy person, you know? But it's like, I've had to navigate my life, my whole entire life, dancing around people because they were worried about my behavior. And I actually modified my behavior a lot until I stopped. And I'm like, if I'm going to be alone in this life, if I'm going to be freaking ostracized for being different and for, you know, sticking up for the underdog and all this stuff, if I'm going to be ostracized for that, then I'm going to say whatever I want to whoever I want. Most of the time it's good stuff. Sometimes it's not good stuff. You know what? It's not all love and light, you know? And people have tried to paint a clear picture, this picture of, you know, oh, everything. Nobody gets to live a life where they get their way all the time. That's what being a full spectrum is. A full spectrum spirit. We're spirits before we're humans. You had a spirit and a consciousness before you ever took your breath, and that's what makes you a human. Breathing, living air, breathing air. You know, it's not as complicated. We got part of the population that likes to really dumb things down, and then they really like to dumb them up. So, I made a note. Energy in space, mind. This was right out of a meditate state, so let's see if it makes sense to me now. Energy in space. Oh, that's okay. What's happening now, and I know this because I'm seeing evidence of people making comments on other people's videos. I can't remember what the video was. It was Rick. It was a post about Rick. Said he was going to post tomorrow, and a woman said that her son is schizophrenic, bipolar, was admitted to the hospital today. And see, I'm trying to change the dialogue. We're just all receivers, receptors, like radio. We tune in on frequencies, okay? Like my horoscope I read a little while, I pick up on people's emotions. That's why I can't live in a city. It's just like constant noise all the time of very low vibrational beings. It's taxing to try and omit just being annoyed all the time, man. It's annoying to me because I don't want to have to be annoyed. And people are like, oh, it's just a conscious decision, right? Well, what's happened is we're flying around on a rock through space. And what's space? Gases? I think my personal opinion is dark matter is our last breath in star constellations. You know, our space DNA, you know, that's what I think dark matter is soul constellations, contracts that hang out up there, and they're gonna incarnate. Earth needs me, you know, drop down, take a breath. What's going on here? Oh, you guys want to fuck up the planet? All right, let's see how this turns out. For oil, I think it is so funny that oil is negative when all those people, all the deaths and destruction that happen because of a imposed threat. You know, it's just more imposed threat, more imposed. You know, somebody making a big deal out of something. Well, if you talk really loud, wave your arms around, you'll get a cat excited about a freaking, you know, you can get a cat or a dog riled up. It's the energy. It's energy. And so this rock is spinning around in space right now, and we're going through these pockets of energy, and we're getting blasts of cellular goodness from the sun of all this stuff, and it's just like vibrate higher, live closer to love. And then you have this percentage of the population that's like, no, we're still how are those third quarter profits? We're you know, living this life tied to these made up paradigms that are bullshit. That has nothing to do with universal law. And so now the whole planet collectively is like, oh wait, thinking about, they're all having the same experience. Everybody's having the same experience in some way or another. We all do. Most people aren't paying attention. Now it's like these cycles come around. You know, like I had a lot of trauma in my life until in the beginning of my life, I had a lot of trauma, you know, and traumatic things can happen any second, any day. So what happens is, like, your body remembers the vibration of the incident. Even though your cellular body, if it happened more than 7 years ago, you ain't even physically the same person you were, but on a vibrational frequency, your breath is still the same and still recognizes it. What causes you to breathe in and out. So every time that like the time of year that it happens, you're reminded, did you deal with that pain? Or did you stuff it? And look around society. Obesity, the epidemic, is people stuffing. That's all that it is people not saying what they think, and they're eating stuff to make them feel better. That's all that obesity is, eating feelings. That's what people do, is you eat your feelings. And there's things physically that can keep you from hanging on to that, and there's things, it's mostly emotional. I know, I used to be almost 200 pounds, and I'm 5'3". Well, I used to almost be 5'3 3/4, or 5'3 3/4, and now I'm 5'2 also, but still. But I know the importance of health. Health is your wealth. So people have, and it's also, this is more important. People have done terrible things too. And so every year that it's whatever time of year that they've done that, they're reminded of what they've done. Are they still acting like that? Are they still behaving like that? Have they made wrong for their right, or right for their wrong? Have they made amends for that? Have they canceled out the negative energy with trying to make it right? Or is it just buried? Now we have a whole world that is just buried stuff. And truth is like a sliver that is destined to come out. No matter how hard people try to bury it and keep it hidden, it's going to come out, and that's what's coming out, because we're traveling through a pocket of space, and the astrology is lining up to shake out the rug. Get your freaking low vibrational freaking crap out of your field. Just stop being an asshole. Stop caring more about money than people. That's why the world is the way it is, because money matters more. And people sell out their parents. Look at that. Dude, I'm the only person I know ever in the history that has quit their fucking profession to keep their mother out of a fucking nursing home. And I'm only, she's lived with me since I was 36, 37. And I'm only 46. My earning potential? It's priceless. Because of my heart. Right? But I look around in society. Yeah. I can't get a break, right? My brother says I haven't worked in 3 years because I haven't got a W-2. He's a lawyer for the state of California. And I'm like, neither of you. You write letters. What, are you pulling in 6 figures now, brah? I haven't had running water in 3 years, and he's freaking sucking on the tit of freaking, you know? and it's people that don't have things. We're the people with poverty mentality, not the ones that have it all and don't want to share, right? Because it's wasteful. Because people don't work and earn it. I earn it every day when I go down and get the water for the toilet out of the creek. Sometimes people are walking by. I'm like, what? You never seen somebody without utilities, can't afford it? Just trying to take care of a family. That's all I'm trying to do. Yeah. But you have powers that be that just like to make it harder and harder and harder while they're making their buildings bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, so I guess I won't say that next part. I think that's my divine calling it a wrap for today. So hope you have a good evening. Peace.